Welcome back to the Shoot Your Shot Sports Fantasy Football Lifeline Show, coming to you live from Election Night 2020. This is Richie Chicago, and I'm joined by a fantasy football expert, Jay Baller. What's up?
How we doing, brother? Nice to see you tonight.
Yeah, man. It's been a crazy day. So, Election Day.
While the fire, let's hope everything's still standing about 1 a.m. tonight. So.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, and always we're here to help
you
suck
less.
All right, so before we get into this, today's show is sponsored by Thrive Fantasy, the daily fantasy sports app for player props to be found on the Google Play and App Store. So make sure you use promo code Lifeline when you sign up today, and it will match up to $50 on your first deposit of a minimum $20. So be sure to check back this Thursday for our Thursday night football contest picks. So let's kick it off where we always do, with the injury outlook. So how's that going?
So I already got the line out tonight. Who knows what we're gonna see? But the good thing is only a couple injuries this past weekend. Nothing like we've seen from previous weekends. Again, a couple nagging ones. One that it looks like is going to take it through the end of the fantasy football season. And George Kittle, 6+ weeks, broken foot. I could see them throwing him, putting him on the rest, out for the rest of the season. Just don't know if they're going to risk their big man unless they're in the playoff hunt. So again, you're going to be, if you had George Kittle, going to be a couple of guys I'll talk about a little later that can get you through. A big one this week. Talking about uncertainty. Aaron Jones, the running back there in Green Bay. Now it looks as if we got Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, and AJ Dillon all looking doubtful to play on Thursday. With Dillon and Williams already being ruled out. What I'm hearing is Aaron Jones is definitely more doubtful than questionable going into the short week. So a couple names we'll talk about here in a bit, so pay attention. But, probably not going to see Jones this week. Outside of that, looks like Kenyon Drake's still going to be out. Chase Edmonds is the go-to there. Calvin Ridley, we might have dodged a bullet here. While he might miss a week because that injury happened Thursday, it was a mild foot sprain, nothing major. Look for him to potentially be back in the lineup this Sunday. Again, something you're going to want to monitor over the week, but doesn't look like we're going to be without Calvin Ridley for more than a week at most. Could suit up as early as this weekend. Godwin, earlier on they were saying, hey, 2 to 4 weeks was a fractured thumb or fractured finger. Looks like he might suit up this Sunday night with Antonio Brown and Mike Evans. Tom Brady might have all of his weapons here. Again, risky start having him in there with Antonio Brown coming in. But again, like I said earlier in the year, you drafted him in the first 3 or 4 rounds. You're probably having to play him with bye weeks. There's probably not a lot of good options that you have in outside of somebody like like Godwin. Jonathan Taylor here. What's up, buddy?
We got a quick question. So, do you think I should pick up Breida and start him because Gaskin's out?
So I'm not so sure about picking up Breida. We still have Jordan Howard there. They did add Dwayne Washington earlier yesterday. I'm not sure who's going to run the rock in Miami this weekend. With Gaskins out, I think there's a couple better options on the wire that you can get first. But if it comes down to hey, I'm back into the waiver wire, Breida is likely going to see a growth in touches, but I think we have some better options here, and I'll dive into those here in 2 seconds here.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. But with Chris Carson, that's kind of leading up to that question there, man. If Chris Carson's out, there's DJ Dallas. I thought had an excellent weekend. If you watched last week, he was a guy I was big on. Felt that he was going to get the nod for the start. Luckily, I had to put him in there in both my leagues. He did well for me, got me a victory. Guys like him are guys I think I'm going to want to like, I like a little bit more. Again, with Gaskin being out, 3 weeks. We also got Jonathan Taylor. Looks like he's going to miss another week or so with an ankle injury. I just like the Indianapolis offense a little bit more than the Miami offense right now. But yeah, and then on the good news side, we got, looks like Michael Thomas will finally suit up this week. Again, who the hell knows? He could show up and tweak his other ankle on Thursday. That's the luck he's had this year. And then Christian McCaffrey. Looks like Christian McCaffrey's set to go. Wants to play. Going to need that final thumbs up from the team doctors. But all signs point that McCaffrey will be back in the lineup this weekend. So I'll kind of dive into that question, regarding Breida. I think it's a good spot to pick up here. Couple guys that are still pretty available out there in the waiver wire: Damian Harris, Gus Edwards, JaMychal Hasty, Wayne Gallman. If you have an option, I don't love Breida's ability to there in Miami. 12 yards of total offense. Green Bay has a couple running backs that are likely going to be out there that are going to get more touches than Breida will. Tyler Ervin or Dexter Williams. Again, I'm not sure who's going to be the one to get those. Dexter Williams is currently on the practice squad. Tyler Ervin was more of a return man, so they're probably going to split it. My guess, if I was a gambling man here on this, is going to be Dexter Williams. He's the guy that looks more like an every down running back. Again, probably expect a lot more Aaron Rodgers in that game. But, hey, it's, anytime you can get a guy that's likely going to be the 1-2 running back on a week like this, short week, we're going into week 9. I'm going to like those guys again a little bit more than Breida. And then, again, even more than Breida, Jordan Wilkins. He came in for Jonathan Taylor. Well, Jonathan Taylor played the whole game. Didn't look great. Made sense that he had a bum ankle towards the end because Jordan Wilkins just looked, much better than him in that second half. So yeah, I think, I don't hate Breida there, buddy, but I like a lot of other options there. Running back. On the receiving side, you got Corey Davis. I've talked, I was so high on Corey Davis 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. He's finally coming to fantasy appreciation. I think he needs to be rostered in all leagues now. The Titans have a pretty darn good offense with Tannehill throwing the rock. A.J. Brown's number 1. Corey Davis gets the better coverage. They got a great tight end in Jonnu Smith. He's in a great spot as a wide receiver too, especially when you got teams loading the box to stop Derrick Henry. So I think Corey Davis is somebody that definitely needs to be rostered. He's actually number 1 on my waiver wire this week. I think he's somebody that could be starting for you the rest of the season, depending on where your injuries lie, depending on flex, buys. Again, some of the buys get tougher. We go through week 13, guys, so you're going to need some depth. Another guy, Marvin Jones, mainly this week because Galladay is going to be out. Galladay has already been ruled out this week in against the Vikings. Again, it's going to be week to week after that. I don't think he's going to be out for too long. Again, that's a guy that's been tearing it up, leads the receivers in touchdowns, so it's going to be missed. But I think Marvin Jones is a guy you got to add if you had Galladay. He's going to get all those targets. He's going to get 100 yards and a touchdown this weekend. I feel really good about Marvin Jones. And then Sterling Shepard. I talked about him last week. Thought he had a horrible matchup this week against the Bucs. Still got, I think, 9 targets, put in 74 yards. He's going to, yes, it's the Giants offense. He's going to be touchdown dependent to break that 10 points. But he's a guy that's going to get the targets. The matchups are going to be a little easier. The Bucs have one of the top secondaries in the league. One of the top defenses in the league. Total. So with some of these injuries coming around and the bye weeks to some of these guys, flexing, whatever it might be, wherever you need them. You got Corey Davis, good option. Marvin Jones, a good option. Sterling Shepard, good option. All 3 of those guys were drafted earlier in the year, found themselves back on the waiver wire. They're veterans. They're not going to put up goose eggs most weeks. So here's sometimes it might only take 8 points, but that's what we're striving for right now with all these injuries. So, and the only other piece that I think is worth noting is we got some really good streamable defenses. Not only streamable defenses I'm recommending that you add and stick in your lineup for the rest of the year. The Washington football team, they've had an excellent defense all year. Offense that tries to take time away and keep the defense off the field. Ron Rivera's always been known for putting a pretty good defense on the out there. So I like the Washington football team. I think they're top 7 in most leagues. And then you got the Miami Dolphins, who are the defensive scoring leaders through 8 weeks. They've also I think they're tied for the most touchdowns on defense. And hey, that's the only reason this team's in it still. That defense is great. You got Xavier Howard on one side, Byron Jones on the other. It's really tough to throw the ball in Miami. And they got a pretty decent schedule the rest of the year. They've proven that's a top tier defense. I'm cool with adding them and throwing them through the rest of the year. And then the last one being the Houston Texans this week. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars throwing their second string quarterback, 6th round draft pick, first rookie start. It's just got everything. All the markings for a JJ Watt is going to just eat this kid's lunch, take his lunch money, date his mom, all of it this week. And the Texans are going to eat against Jacksonville. Personally, I have a decent defense. I need to stream a defense this weekend. I'm going Texans as a streamer. But if you need a defense that's going to be there as the year goes on, the Dolphins are probably at the top of my list, and I put the Redskins in the middle there. So it's a good week because a lot of those teams had buys. If you have a decent waiver wire spot, if you're looking to really finalize your team going into the rest of the year, we got 3 solid defenses there. And then as we're streaming, we got the Eagles on bye, we got the Bengals on bye, we got the Browns on bye. You probably weren't starting Baker. You probably were starting Burrow, though. I think he's earned a starting spot. Carson was probably earning a starting spot. And then you got, Jared Goff's kind of on the fringe. He was more of a bye week start. I put him in, QB 13 to 16, depending on the matchup. But Derek Carr, hey guys, he's gonna get his 250 yards and a touchdown. He could go better. He could put up 30 points. He's probably going to be closer to the 20 range. Again, more of a safe option. He's never going to lose you the week. He might not win you the week, but that's all we're looking for in a streamable week. And then Kirk Cousins. Again, you never know what Kirk Cousins you're going to get, but he is going up against the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions have let up a lot of points. And so, hey, if you need a quarterback to get you through the week, I think Derek Carr and Cousins are going to be just fine for you. I don't recommend Tua Tagovailoa after watching last week. I don't really recommend Sam Darnold. The options are running. Garoppolo, with Garoppolo going down, I don't recommend Nick Mullins. So there's not a lot out there, from a starting quarterback standpoint. So you got to take what you can get.
Awesome. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Our handle is FB_Lifeline. So throughout Sunday, I'll be putting all the plays up. So you can check out, if you don't have Red Zone, it's a great way to catch up with all the points and everything. So it's crazy.
Apologize about Sunday. I was getting texts. I was on the West Coast, and man, I forgot how early football starts out there. 10 a.m. At 7 a.m. my phone was blowing up. I'm like, man, I've only been to bed a few hours, so it was a long Sunday getting started at 10. But no, hey, wanted to keep it quick tonight, guys. I know there's a lot bigger things going on out there outside of fantasy football, but hey, you still got to get the waiver wire in. Still got to know what's going on from the injury standpoint. Like Richie said, let us know if you got any questions. Happy to answer. And hey, pour yourself a beer, pour yourself a glass of wine, and we'll get through this tonight. And the sun will come up tomorrow.
Definitely. All right. Yeah. See you guys next week.
Peace, guys.